Dokkan Dialogue.
Hi, I'm the Dokkan Dialogue. And with me,
Just
Dialogue.
Shut up.
What? Anyway, so, as our viewership might know, we're both the resident DBZ, DB, DBGT, DB
Dragonball fans.
Fans.
Use fans.
You're a terrible co-host. Anyway, no.
I'm terrible.
I'm just messing. Anyway, so we're going to talk about what we thought were the top 10. We're going to talk about our favorite movies in the series. We've done 18 films so far.
15.
Well, that's in Z. I'm talking about in total.
Yeah, until I think there's about 20. And if you also want to count specials.
Yeah, I don't count the specials though.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, I like the specials, alright, but I guess, yeah, if you're counting specials, there are about over 20 of them. So, we're going to talk about our favorites,
and while we do that, we're also going to be eating some Dragon Ball Heroes candy.
Yay,
Preston bought.
Cheeto-y things. I bought them online, and I thought, hey, why not?
The magic of internet.
The magic of internet. I can buy whatever things I want, so let's puppy up.
Alright.
Oh, gosh, you need scissors!
Scissors.
Scissors! Alright. Cool. Alright, so you can start if you want.
Alright, for the movie at number 10, I believe should go to The Tree of Might.
Okay.
Now let me explain why I say that. Is basically it's a what if series came into the actual Dragon Ball Z universe. Because as it's known and not known, Turles is supposed to be Goku if he had not hit his head. And so, overall it was a great movie to watch, and there were just a lot of aspects that were really good. You know, it's a movie you can rewatch every so often, and other than that, it's really good. Your opinion on that?
Oh no, I love Tree of Might. I think it's a great film. No. You have trivia on it.
Trivia?
Yeah, but I can't read.
Oh, I got Pan.
I love GT's. I love Tortora's Sign of Pan.
Who'd you get on yours?
Frieza.
Frieza.
So I did really like that movie. It's one of my all-time. It's one of my favorites. Definitely of the first 4 films.
Right.
Specifically because of the whole concept of Turles. I think my weakest thing for it is it has some kind of forgettable moments in it. They do a lot of cool stuff, but there's a lot of things that are just kind of like, and I'm mainly focusing on minion characters. The minion characters are the most, like, they're so pretty. I don't want to get rid of them.
I wasn't going to get rid of them.
Okay.
Just aside.
Oh no, okay. So I'll just like come over there and I'll just squeeze over you. The villains are like really forgettable. Like the minion characters are really
I mean, some of them have really great designs.
Some of them are, and some of them are not. Some of them just aren't my favorites. Especially when we're talking about films that come up. Like, I love the designs in Dead Zone.
Right.
Dead Zone has gorgeous designs. And the villain characters look great and they feel great as minion characters. But, I forgot to listen to my mouth. But, it just didn't really pan out for me with those characters.
Right. Well, that's kind of what we're bringing at number 10.
Yeah, but all in all, it's a great film.
I mean, if my first Dragon Ball Z movie was more so set in the Cell area, but when I first watched the early Dragon Ball Z movies, it was among one of my favorites.
See, I'm the polar opposite. I didn't see the Cell era movies until I got into high school. As a kid, it was just the early stuff. I saw the first 4 films. And then those movies came out, but I never got a chance to see them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, now that we've gone over that one, number 9.
Do I get to pick number 9? Is that,
yes.
So we're dragging off.
We're going to trail. We already know what number 2 and number 1 are.
So, number 9 for me is, if I had to pick one, it's so hard. Dead Zone. I of thing.
Dead Zone?
Like, Dead Zone used to be my favorite as a kid. Now there's so many to watch. And
Right.
Then I grew up and found that there were these, like, tons of other movies besides the 3 or 4 I saw. And Dead Zone blew my mind. It was my first, I think I saw it with the Canadian dub. And, I really liked it. I still like it to this day. And I know there's been hate about, like, the older films, and it's very unfortunate because they're some of the best.
And also another reason we're making this video is because of we recently watched a video by some guy called Scorpion.
Scorpion? Yeah.
And he basically hated on a lot of the early stuff because the way I saw it, it did not have enough fight scenes.
And see, that's unfortunate because most of, like, early stuff, DB, not fight heavy, especially the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, you see a punch or two thrown, but that was about.
I mean, there are battles in it, but it was mainly comedy and character development, and that's my favorite stuff. So, Dead Zone does have a lot of good fights, though, and I will defend it on that. It's one of those movies that, like, when you see as a kid, you're just like, wow, this is different from everything I've ever seen. And I do like the Garlic Jr. storyline. I did like the filler saga of Garlic Jr. That was one of my first sagas. So,
and also a neat little tidbit about Garlic Jr. is he's the only villain to have ever gained immortality through Dragon Balls.
That's true.
Of all the people that have tried, he's the only one.
I mean, he succeeds. This 3rd tier villain did it. And Princess just like going like this. Alright. Anyway, so that's my fave that's my entry on number 9 is Dead Zone.
Alright, are we ready to move on to number 8?
Yeah.
No, I know I'm coming, but number 8, I would have to say Bio Broly.
Wow!
As much
I mean, I'm going to harp in and praise it as well, but I've never thought you were going to put it in the top 10.
As much as I hate on that movie, I have to admit, there are great parts in it. It's funny, but it doesn't go to my favorite of all Dragon Ball Z villains. I mean, yeah, it's Broly's clone, but I just feel like they've done a bit more with that. You know, a little more, you know, maybe a Cyber Broly or an Android Broly or something like that. But it's still a good movie overall.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I can really say. Take it off.
I heard so many horror stories about this one. This is why it took me forever to watch it. And you were the one who showed it to me. Because I'd heard so much about how awful it was, and it's terrible, and it's horrible, and people showed me the designs, and I'm like, oh, it's terrible. And my only negative is the villain designs. Even the Biomen look really non-Toriyama, and I know they're not designed by Toriyama, they're designed by, insert name here. I'm gonna look it up and know it's the same. Same guy did Janemba. It's the same designer for Janemba. Yeah. Anyway, and that's like, yeah, I know it's really surprising when you hear that. But the thing was when I saw it, my favorite thing about the Majin Buu saga were the relationship between Krillin and 18. Well, that was a big deal for me. That was one of my big. Like, I was like, this is really cute watching. And the dynamic between Goten and Trunks. Their characters are amazingly well balanced. That one's, Goku, and one of them's just this mischievous kid who just kind of like talks him into stuff, and little tiny Goten's like, okay, yeah, no, that sounds right, let's go do it. And it's just... It really harkens back to what Toriyama was trying to do with Dragon Ball. I think he really lost his way. When you go to watch Cell Saga, and it's really serious.
Right.
There's not a lot of comedic tones. Majin Buu Saga is almost pure Toriyama. It's had a mix of all the fights from Z, but with all the humor elements and character development that you saw in Dragon Ball.
I mean, I also remember a scene from Buu Saga, and it's just after Super Buu absorbs Vegito, and Vegeta and Goku are fighting their way through Buu's intestines and everything, and he pulls over and turns a rocket just to Porta-John. while Hercule and Dende just watch him go in there.
Right.
Like, do we attack him?
But now that I've gotten that rant over, which is the first of many rants, they nailed it story-wise. Nailed it with those characters. Showed scenes that were fantastic. Really made those characters shine like their brightest.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the best scenes and best character dynamic between Krillin and 18 are in this film. I think some of the best character dynamic you can see between Goten and Trunks is in this film. It's perfect in that way.
Right, because you never see much of 18 and Krillin's relationship.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you'll see them together.
See it every now and then, but it's very rare and in between. It wasn't a focal point, and this was definitely a focal point in specific scenes in this film. And I liked it. It was a great film. It's not one to watch for a battle, but it is one to watch for story and character development.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can argue it's not canon. It fits in a film verse. Well, I mean, it's a multiverse.
Thanks to Battle God, we have the movieverse.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I really liked it.
Here, I'll just Trunks. Trunks. Super Saiyan Trunks. All right. To end on that, when I first watched Bio Broly, I did not like it as much, but you know, the more and more that you hear or see something that you don't like, it grows attached to you. And you know, Broly's always been my favorite of villains, so it's kind of it's an in between for me. So that's kind of the reason why I chose it for number 8, just because I love Broly as a villain, as an antagonist, and you know, overall as a character. With that, let's go to number 7.
Mystical Adventure.
Mystical Adventure. That's Chaozu as an emperor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He watched Dragon Ball films. He showed them to me. I've only seen them like one time each. Except Path to Power. I've seen that quite a few times.
It's because I force people to watch it. Anyway.
And you know what? It's good.
It is. It's a really good movie. Mystical Adventure is the retelling of the Tien Shinhan saga.
Good job.
But
good saga.
Mixing elements of the Red Ribbon Army saga. Both fantastic sagas. And it makes it its own thing. One of the problems with that people find with the Dragon Ball films is that they're just retellings. And I understand why people get upset about that. Or they're just retellings, but they make slight alterations. This makes so many alterations to the story.
It deserves to be almost a new one.
It's its own thing. It's its own thing, and it's so cool how it does it. Sleeping Princess also did that, but Sleeping Princess was, it's a weird creature. That's for another video entirely.
Yeah.
But, Mystical Adventure took everything I loved about those two sagas and kind of slapped them together and said, hey, look, a movie. Enjoy. It also took the Dr. Slump cameo and brought it in there. It was great. It's gold. There's so much in that movie that is just so amazing. And it blows my mind that not a lot of people talk about Mystical Adventure because I'm like, this is incredible work of art that no one is talking about online and like putting in their top 5 lists or top 10 lists.
Right.
So Mystical Adventure would definitely be my number 7.
Well, it's art and it's in our countdown.
It's forever.
All right. My take on it was, you know, I found it cute that they did combine the sagas. I remember reading Dragon Ball. That's how I got into Dragon Ball. Was my library had issue 1 of Dragon Ball.
Oh, nice.
But you know, they had to go in with pen and get rid of some things.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I first got introduced. And
bottoms.
no one.
Oh, the pens, the penises.
Not even that. I had Bulma topless.
In the first. Oh yeah.
And, you know,
I used to have that volume, and then my mother discovered it in my house. That was why I couldn't watch Dragon Ball for a very long time. Or one of the reasons.
Anyway,
gosh, I had weird parents. Anyway,
we all do. But I always remember that Red Ribbon and King Piccolo were my two favorite parts of Dragon Ball. And it also amazed me the fact that Goku went in and just destroyed everything because he was pissed off. It's also another reason why I like Path of Power a lot. Because it just has Goku so pissed off that he just goes and decimates everything.
Yeah, but that's for a future talk.
Yeah. But anyway, I do have to agree, Miss Little Adventure does deserve that spot. Anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, I do love what they did. I mean, with the Red Ribbon Army parts that they they put it in so well that it didn't feel out of place. And that was what shocked me. It was like watching the show, then going back and rewatching the movie and going, wow, this is kind of seamless. And it shouldn't be at all, but it's very seamless.
Let's see. For number 6, I'm going to have to put BoJack Unbound.
Okay, yeah.
And let me explain on this. It is the only other time that you'll see Teen Gohan go Super Saiyan 2 other than the Cell Sun.
You will never see it again, no matter how much you want it.
No matter
Unless Super, pulls something amazing. Which I don't see Toriyama ever doing.
I don't think it's his style to do something like that. More like for fan fiction.
Yeah.
Or Tortora.
Tortora always.
He's getting that stuff already pulled out.
He's always he's just going back to DB Heroes and goes, well, what's that thing I can do? Oh, this.
I can do anything I want to do.
Yeah, I own this.
BoJack Unbound, one of the last movies in kind of like a series of movies where the main antagonist is this super buff villain that doesn't really deserve to look like that. Also, it features kind of the Chi-Chi kind of letting Gohan be a bit more of the martial artist that he's been trained up to be by letting him participate in a tournament to, earn some money and possibly pay for a lot of classes.
Right.
And also it's Future Trunks coming back to tell Bone that he's destroyed the androids in his timeline and that everything's just being rebuilt and it's all good.
Hold.
Oh, you turn off the AC.
Let the AC on. Just edit that part out.
My camera has better sound and stuff.
Oh yeah. It's just to help with sound.
But it's also got comedy and Krillin facing off against Zangia and kind of being struck him was like, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, you're kicking my ass.
I enjoyed that movie because it felt like a 3-act film, and a lot of DBZ films don't feel like a 3-act film. It's almost like one whole seamless act. Bad guy has come, defeat bad guy. That's how I felt about Metacooler. I was like, this is just one
Metacooler act. Came in a little too early on his...
Yeah, it was weird. Metacooler always weirded me out as a film. But that's beside the point. I mean, it had its moments. But,
it's not making
BoJack, it begins in the beginning acts of the tournament part. Then we get the build-up to the fight. And the final act, the big fight, is really good. There's a lot of really awesome shots in that. Villain who really sells it as a villain, the scene where he takes Zangia and just goes, see ya, and just she takes the energy shot and dies. I was like, oh, he's bad.
Oh yeah.
So many villains you're in the series talk about being bad, but we never really see them be bad.
I mean, it's not like Cell was bad, but at least he gave people a chance. I mean, he's like, well, I have no power to destroy everything, but you know what? I'll give you 10 days to see how strong you can get.
Oh, we're talking about perfect Cell. Remember original Cell? He just absorbed people all the time. It was super body horror stuff.
Oh, but that part.
Yeah, no, I rewatched that recently. I was like, oh gosh. But there's it's one of those rare moments where, and I'm talking about the movies in particular. Movies that had a real problem with saying I'm the bad guy, but I understood that he was the bad guy, but I never really get to see him really be the bad guy. Yeah, he fights the good guy, but where's the bad actions? I guess. I mean, I've just killed 10 people. What now? Garlic Jr. never did that. Garlic Jr. was like, I'm gonna be immortal, and I'm evil, and they're like, you are evil.
I was like, I want to take over the planet, so...
Yeah, and of course it's based off that kind of comic booky style storytelling, where that's just commonplace. But it's refreshing to see scenes like that, I guess.
Right.
I'm basically saying I'm glad I saw characters being murdered.
Well, that's almost for all Dragon Ball.
Oh, excuse me, I'm basically a monster.
You monster.
I am, though.
Alright, I guess you have number 5.
I
Can you
do
hand me
have
a number
number
one of those?
No.
Yes, give me
You get... Do you want purple or non-purple?
Give me non-purple.
Here we go. You get, disappointment.
I got... Oh. Why'd you give me Ultimate Gohan?
But he's the best Gohan. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I don't know. Me and Zizi were talking about Gohan recently, and we had an interesting conversation about him. But again, another video.
Yeah.
Please edit that part out. Anyway.
Probably not.
What?
Probably not.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, so, number 5?
Yeah.
Lord Slug.
Yeah.
This movie is so personal to me. Like, I love this movie to no end. I remember it was a birthday gift to me, from my cousin. I was like, this is so cool. Because my parents wouldn't buy me anime. I had to buy it for myself or
Get a gift from
get
someone
it,
else.
yeah. And this movie blew me away. Yes, it's King Piccolo. It is just the King Piccolo story wrapped up in, new packaging. But it does everything so well. Like, the action is intense. It's some of the most violent action in the entire franchise.
Like the fact that Goku punched a hole right through his gut.
There's, crazy amounts of, graphic violence in it, and you're like, what is going on? It's intense. Calm down, phone. The soundtrack specifically for the North American was a big thing for me, because that was all this alternative rock music that was yeah. But it took a really good saga from the past, retooled it, and said, okay, so what if this happened present time in the Z universe? And I think a lot of those Z films were kind of just, early Z films specifically, were just kind of what if scenarios and retooling and kind of playing around with the story, and they did amazing work with it.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm a sucker for, new forms or different forms for characters.
Oh, full Super Saiyan.
Yes, that, it's never seen again, but it was such an interesting concept. It was he didn't have anything right to become it at first, so he became this false one.
Right. No, and there's been a lot of speculation about that, so, and it's always cool to see stuff like that, movie-exclusive stuff like that. There's a reason why when you look at, re-release art and promotional art, you'll usually see that iconic cover that they released, where it's just full Super Saiyan Goku and just all the villains from Slug behind him. It's on, a booster pack right now for the DBZ card game. The re-release of the movie box set had that as its front cover. It's a really iconic film.
Right.
So, yeah, Lord Slug would be my choice.
Okay. So, for number 4, I'm actually going to have to go with, and I'm putting this out there, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan.
I knew that was going to be on there.
Well, I already put a Broly movie.
Yeah.
But
I knew this was going to be on there.
Yes, because it was my first Dragon Ball Z movie.
Really?
Yes, I told you.
Okay, I always forget.
Well, yeah, this was my first one, and it's also during the time when I didn't have a lot of knowledge to a lot of the Dragon Ball Z timeline. Ooh, 18.
Mm-hmm.
So, while me being young and watching this, the only time I've ever seen anything from Dragon Ball Z was playing Budokai with my cousin. And, during the entire movie I was like, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 3.
Naked.
eyebrows. I call them flesh mounds because they look like little flesh mounds like on his eyes.
It just grew over the
yeah,
eyebrows.
like, just like flesh, just kind of. It's really gross when I think about it.
But it's a movie I can always go back and watch and enjoy because it has a villain that it takes multiple amount of people to put down. I mean, sure, okay, yeah, you see them and it's like, okay, we all need to team up. This requires them to give everything just to beat him. And even then, he still doesn't die. He comes back for the second Broly movie. And he's more pissed off than anything else.
Yeah, and that in the first Broly movie, it's really interesting because it expands on the Saiyan lore.
Right, it's like the Super Saiyan legend is actually this horrifying monster who only wants death and destruction.
And it reveals more Saiyan characters in it, and it's really cool. And, it's definitely one of those iconic films that everyone likes. Like, there's not many Z fans who are like, it's alright. Like, everybody's like, oh no, that was awesome.
But, Broly is a character, and, his recent giving of a Super Saiyan 4 form for Heroes, which is, it's nice to know that he's still getting a lot of love from the fans and such, because, he's not an actual canon to the series itself, but he still plays a big part in everything. I mean, hell, even in Xenoverse, he had his own saga, which was pretty amazing.
No, it was really cool to see that and play out as well as Bardock, but...
Oh god, that was the worst mission of all time.
It was terrible. But, it's one of those movies that has held up. Some of the Z films kind of, like, age differently for me.
Right.
Where I'll watch one and I'll be like, that was incredible, and then I'll rewatch and I'll be like...
That was okay.
That was okay, but I think this did better. And part of that's maturity. Like, you watch... Right. I watched DBZ originally for fighting, and now I watch Toriyama's works because I like characters. But, it's a film that had all... It was at the peak of Z.
Right.
I mean, Japan and the U.S. was at the highest peak. It had all the right cast. We had the future Trunks and character in play, and everybody was at their prime pretty much. And it looked great. The only thing I ever found negative about that movie is I hate Vegeta in it. I hate Vegeta so much in that movie. Like, for a good portion of it, he's just whining.
We're all gonna die.
It's the legendary Super Saiyan.
Just like, will you grow a pair?
Oh my gosh, it's really not great. It's kind of laughable at that point, but everything else is really good about that movie.
Well, I mean, there's always gonna be a weak point in every.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's true.
But and as I said, Broly is among one of the best characters, in my opinion, for villains. And that's why he made this movie be number 4. But, other than that, it's just nice to see your favorites and all that. So, you want to go to number 3 now?
I do. This I thought about a lot. Like, this was a really tough one because we have all these new movies coming out.
Right.
And all of them have been fantastic. Battle of Gods blew my mind. Made me realize that this isn't something that won't age poorly.
Right.
Like, I thought when Battle of Gods was coming out, I was like, again, like we've seen what DBZ movies can do. It's the bad guy's gonna die and Goku's gonna win. And didn't happen. Played completely different. Resurrection F was great. Path to Power would have been my highest if it weren't for some of the movies that came out recently, but we'll get to that. Path to Power is my number 3. Path to Power is... I tell people Path to Power is everything I love about the Dragon Ball franchise put into a movie.
Right.
It's during that high point in Toei Animation when they were doing 3 different things with Toriyama. They were doing the Dr. Slump remake, Dragon Ball GT, and they did the animation for the PlayStation re-release of Chrono Trigger.
Right.
And it's like that was the point for me. was when you realized there was this really big connection between Toriyama and Toei, that in 1996, 1997. But, the film Path to Power came out in 1996. It was the 10th anniversary film, and it retells the Dragon Ball, the Legend of Goku arc, or the Emperor Pilaf saga, and then mixes in the Red Ribbon Army saga again, because Red Ribbon Army saga was huge saga.
It was one of their best sagas.
It was one of their best. It's a fantastic saga. But, and it does it so well. The animation is gorgeous. The last cell animated Dragon Ball film we got for years. And, it blew my mind when I first saw it. I didn't see it till much later in high school. And I remember just watching it and then rewatching it and then rewatching it and then rewatching it and being like, this is perfect. It's the characters, the story, everything is done so well. And again, it does that thing that Mystical Venture did, where it takes two different sagas and lays different elements on them of those sagas together, and it works seamlessly.
You know, and also, it has one of your favorite characters of all time in it.
Yeah, Ader was I've got a lot of love specifically for season 2 of Dragon Ball, and there's a lot of characters I liked in that: Upa, Bora, Ader, a lot of the Red Ribbon cast, but and Ader was a big one for me, and I loved his character, and to see Ader as a character in this and how he's portrayed in this, and they use him almost as the Bora character, as the self-sacrifice character. It's great. It's so beautifully done. There's a reason I went out and bought like over $100 worth of animation cells from that movie. So
he has the folders to prove it.
I do. They're like right behind this camera right now that I won't pull out because I'm too tired. But yeah.
And you know, when you showed me that movie for the first time, I gotta admit, it was really amazing.
Oh yeah, that's what got ZZ into it.
Really?
Yeah, no, I told her, I was talking about Dragon Ball, I was like, will you at least watch this with me? Because she was not interested at all in the idea. She was like, it's Dragon Ball. And I showed that to her and she went, that was good. I went, I know. I know it's good. Don't tell me things I already know. I just needed you to know that. But, it's definitely one of the most powerful in my mind and the closest to my heart.
Right.
So.
Well, for number 2, and you know, he and I did a little bit of discussion about this.
We did.
A little bit, and I say little, it's like 5 minutes.
It was 5 minutes, I said, I think this. Well, we'll think about it.
So, for number 2 is a movie that he and I both love. For me more is because it was my first Dragon Ball Z movie that I purchased myself. And it was Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn.
There is not one element that's wrong in this film.
Not really.
Nothing I can complain about at all. And I'm amazed when I find people who've never seen it as Z fans. And I'm like, you've never seen Fusion Reborn?
I mean, other than having Gogeta, his first appearance ever.
The best Fusion.
Right.
Also, next to Gotenks.
Well, I mean, is there any other Fusion?
Oh! No, there is none.
But also, Gogeta was the last character to have his power level measured in the Daienshu.
That's right.
And I think it was like 25 billion or something?
It was something
I'm probably
nuts.
wrong, but it was
I love that the Daienshu were basically like that was the last movement of Toriyama going, yeah, sure, power levels, whatever.
But even the design of the villain, Janemba, you know, first, okay, you see this giant, giant fat yellow demon thing is like, oh, he couldn't be any harmful. And all of a sudden, oh shit, he can control time and space and create portals to punch. But, you know, forces Goku to go up to Super Saiyan 3 and cave his head in.
Yeah.
And then causes him to transform into this menacing, just awful demon. And
Hitler's in it.
Goten and Trunks fight Hitler's army.
They're
they don't even call him Hitler. They call him the dictator.
The dictator, yeah. But the whole film is done in a way. It's really short too. It's like 15 minutes, isn't it? It's not one of the
45.
45. I knew it was something like it wasn't like over an hour, but it's done so perfectly that once it's done, it feels complete. It doesn't feel like they left anything out.
Right.
They did the build up, the battle, the resolution, and it's good. It's really good.
I mean, even in comedy, you get comedy from Vaku.
The comedy and the writing, everything's right. The one thing that's also interesting about that is the director for Fusion Reborn, same director as the director for Path to Power.
And that probably makes them both so
great.
And
I think that really shows a lot. I was actually looking at what he directed, and he directed Legendary Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so like all those like really iconic class films, is like big films in the Dragon Ball franchise, and our opinions have all been the same guy. So
there's going to be some people who think other movies being better, but
that's why we made this video, so we could
just
voice our opinions. You can post your hate in the comments below.
There's some people. We like GT. There, the hate started.
I liked GT pretty okay. So number 1,
we both know what it is.
Yeah,
and it's Battle of
Gods. It's got a recent hate online, and it's shocking me because I'm like, I can't remember an anime movie that made me this happy.
Well, I mean, it just didn't follow.
Because mainly I watch a lot of emotional, dramatic stuff, but yeah.
But I mean, one theory I have is that it doesn't follow the formula for Dragon Ball.
No, it doesn't, and that's the best part about this movie. Like I said prior, when this movie came out, I didn't really have a huge amount of interest in seeing it because I thought it's gonna be like every DBZ movie. The bad guy's gonna die,
and then Goku's
gonna win. And then you showed to me, and I went, "Oh my gosh, this breaks all the rules in all the right ways." And Toriyama, I think, knew what he wanted to do with this. And Toriyama always said that Z was a pressure for a long time because he had to build up those big battles, and he was like, "I don't know how to do this." And, he had to go back and rewrite and redo and undo things and make new villains because certain villains his editor were like, these are dumb. But that's basically the entire story of the Android to Cell saga. But this movie treated itself like Dragon Ball.
Right.
It was a comedy through and through, and then it got to that battle. And it was a 3-act play. And it did those 3 acts perfectly. It was the introduction of the villain, the whole build-up. Then we get to this almost this slapstick humor moment where we're revisiting all these characters that we loved and cherished, celebrating at a party. And then we get to that final act of just this amazing fight with flow music playing. And the villain doesn't die. And I think that's a big deal.
And he wasn't even a villain to begin with.
He wasn't a villain. And that was even more of a big deal. Was that he was just a neutral party. And that blew my mind. I was like, no, this is wrong. This is against everything I believe as a TBZ fan. And it was perfect.
The only villain of that entire movie was Pilaf, and he stuffed his face for most of the film.
Yeah, and Pilaf's, oh my gosh, bringing the Pilaf gang back was the best decision.
And then continuing with them in the next
Resurrection F, which I'm so sad we didn't put in this list.
Well, I think we're going to select movies that we can get out and buy.
Yeah, but Resurrection F is definitely, not though it isn't on the list, it's really good. Battle of Gods is it's an amazing film. Yeah,
I mean, it opened up new forms. It opened a new series with Super.
Yeah,
because Resurrection F, and then Super, but it's going off the Battle of Gods theme or plot, which we're having a really great time watching.
More hate for the internet.
Yeah.
Throw that wood in the fire, sir.
But also, it's just to see the movie itself. I saw it in theaters, and he regrets it.
I do. I really wish I could have gone back and gone to go see it in theaters. Though I don't regret going to see Resurrection F. That was a blast.
I saw it with him and ZZ, and
first night we had a. Oh gosh.
Oh, it was packed.
It was. I've heard every showing so far has been pretty. Like that they showed of it was
they
full
sold
house.
out every time.
Yeah.
I mean that's what you get when you come with Battle of Gods, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Holy shit, this thing's great! I'm going to wait for the next movie."
And it's definitely, Chris Abbott said this, that it feels like 1999 again. And it does. It is this era where now us man-children are kind of going, oh, right, that was cool.
I mean,
and getting, and the next generation is feeling that too. The Kai is now popular with really young kids. I know I work with children, and I've had conversations with kids who are like 8, and they're just going, yeah, no, I've seen that, that's great. And they'll just talk to me about it, and I'll tell them stuff, and they're like, that happens? And I'll go, oh gosh, spoilers, I'm sorry. But it's incredible, this time we're living in, and it's amazing to think that this is still relevant. There have been anime that have exploded, and then now they're just kind of obscure. Gundam used to be a huge deal here. Now Gundam's kind of like, if you're 20-something and you're an anime fan, you probably watched it.
Well, I did because I was never
introduced
to it. I mean, you showed me.
But no, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, in general, Cowboy Bebop is a cult classic.
Right.
But it's not something that people are still, like, new anime fans. Like, if you go to a con, you're just going to see kind of the seasoned anime fans in the get-up. And go, hey, remember Cowboy Bebop? And, like, us 30 guys in the room are like, yeah, no, I do. Dragon Ball Z is just a rare beast. It's a lot like Sailor Moon in that sense, where it's just something that is going to last forever, and it has the power to last.
It stood the test of time repeatedly. I mean, even during its low points, which regardless was Evolution, it's a cult classic. It's
not even a cult classic, it's just a classic. You would have to have a small following. This is one of the largest followings of any anime ever, and especially in North America. And it's one of those things that people won't know what anime is, but you tell them Dragon Ball Z and they're like, oh yeah, no, I know what that is. And we live in a great time. We're having new movies come out, and I can't wait to see what comes out next. So
that's going to be amazing for what he can
I'm really curious, yeah. So, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So this has been our top 10 video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe.
No, you're catching it.
Yeah, right. To Dokkan Dialogue, and we'll try to post videos as much as we can. And we now have an editor, so that's cool.
Yay! I will try to get videos out as soon as I can, but I'm a procrastinator. I might work on it a bit and then just kind of stop for a while. But I promise I will try my best to try to get videos out as soon as possible. This will probably be our first video. I'm going to edit that up. Probably be our first video.
Alright. And check out Armies in Love, our sister channel, which is where me and my fiance ZZ watch K-pop, J-pop, and other music things and talk about them. Also, we have fan reactions to events like anime cons or K-pop concerts, and little things here and there. So check that out, and have an awesome whatever day it is that you're watching this video. Bye.
Bye.
Damn camera!